those materials, they actually were stored at Loma Linda for a while and then brought to La Sierra, having been shipped I've forgotten how many boxes. I mean, just boxes on top of boxes. These collections were actually massive. Whole artifacts. Well, some of them made it to campus in pieces. We were spread around campus. In particular, the lower floors of the dining commons, there were several rooms on the lower floor, and those held different parts of these collections. Then there was in one of those rooms a bit of display area, but otherwise these were storage and lab spaces. And then the other major space on campus was in Palmer Hall, the chemistry building. And in Palmer Hall, over the space of a couple of years, we were able to commandeer the use of several rooms, a couple of labs, the old chemistry labs. And part of this was for artifacts, part of it was for library materials. They were wonderful because we had these great countertops that were prepared to protect against any chemical. And that meant they were just absolutely terrific to use. The challenge was that these materials were what we call unprovenanced. The donations, we did not know where they came from, except somewhere around Jerusalem. And somewhere around Jerusalem also included parts of Jordan. So it was a challenge pulling all of this together. And we were bringing everything to the Palmer Hall labs and to the spaces underneath the dining commons. We organized volunteers. Bob had created a streamlined process so that volunteers were helping, putting some of the broken ones together, moving them along countertops, and then they were photographed. We had to record these artifacts, even if in a preliminary sort of way. It's best practices, and we wanted to have every bit of information available and described as much as we could. So for the donations, that's how we were processing. But that's only part of what archaeology was happening at La Sierra, because there were excavations, of which La Sierra was actually turned out to be the primary sponsor. The Mataba Plains Project excavations at Tel El Ameri, it was originally under Andrews, but it ultimately came under the purview of La Sierra. And in the process, artifacts, especially ceramic artifacts, samples, I mean, crates on top of crates on top of crates. There's no way to number the pottery pieces. We filled one small room in the basement of the dining commons, stacked to the ceiling with these red crates that stack on top of each other. And I mean, hundreds of thousands of broken pieces of pottery. We used it to analyze the dates of the various layers of soil they were associated with, to understand how people made the pottery, what they used the pottery for, including residue analysis. We had a graduate student who studied cooking pots, and by just taking little pieces of the rims of cooking pots, the analysis demonstrated whether these cooking pots were used for vegetables, for meat, for dairy, because of these little lipids that would, become part of the fabric of the pottery. So we began with these collections, the ones we excavated. We started using all kinds of different processes. So, I mean, if one thinks about kind of pre-Center for Near Eastern Archaeology at La Sierra, these are the kinds of things that led up to it.